folks? Bob Mannery here, and you're listening to Agree to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgazzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Let's talk about it. It's Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. We are live from the Real Talk Studios, like we are every Sunday. And every Sunday we are brought to you by our doc. Make him yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Tom Arnone, Nick Delgazzo, Greg Moakovic, the family out there joining us. We got a ton to talk about throughout the show. Crumb of the week. Later on, NFC, AFC championship game previews, because here we go, and a great weekend of football. And, you know, the NFL never disappoints. I mean, they disappoint in terms of the rules and some of that BS, but in terms of the game, the on-field stuff,
sure.
never disappoints.
At least today, anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, usually in the playoffs, it never disappoints. It's usually, but the upsets make it that much more exciting to watch.
Oh, last night I was 12 to, it was 6 to midnight last night.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Essentially both games were
12 to 24.
Blowouts, you know what I mean? Essentially both games were blowouts, you know what I mean?
But
yesterday, and then today became one, but I mean, exciting 24-0, and then you go 51-7.
Yeah, then you say, hold on.
How about it? 51-7. I don't know if it's in the history. I mean, I'm gonna have to go to our producer and find out if there's anything that's ever happened like that. Forget about the playoffs.
Just in general. Just in general. Just in general. They get waxed. They get waxed. But national championship preview, that's tomorrow night.
Yep.
For all the marbles, a big one. Clemson LSU. We'll let you know who wins, and we'll let you know who to take gambling-wise, and hopefully win you a couple bucks. Probably not, but we're going to try. Sixers suck on the road is a main topic at hand. 7-13, not good enough. You need to be a 500 team on the road if you want to get to where you want to get to. 18-2 at home is phenomenal. Don't take anything away from it. But you'd be a 2 seed if you were just playing 500 basketball on the road. You'd be the 2 seed right now.
10-10. 10-10.
Yep, only 2.5 out. Plenty of time to make up ground, but this team needs to play better on the road. It's that simple, and it ties into our poll question. Sixers' road record will be over 500 this season. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. Subscribe, like, follow, the whole 9, fam. But listen, and we're also going to get into, what are the issues here? Besides one of your superstars not having a point in the second half last night, which is unacceptable. But to the poll question, let's get right into it. The Sixers' road record will be over 500.
Minus 31 plus
this season.
You know what I mean? That's for all for the nerds out there. You know what I mean? That means something to them. You know what I mean? Minus 31 in the second half. Ben. That's just Ben.
Yeah, that's just one guy. Well, outscored 32 and 36 in the second half, which is disgraceful on a team that's on a back-to-back, and they outplay you that well in the second half. Irks me and bothers me more than I can even express to you right now. But would it be over 500 on the road?
It's tough to make up. I mean, 7-13, like I said. So you got to make up. You're looking at 6 games. Can they do it? Sure, but I mean, it's not. They're not showing any signs. Is what I'm. You know what I mean? Like if it looked like we were losing some close games and we competed on the road, then I'd say maybe. You know what I mean? But I don't think the switch is just going to go off. I mean, we're hoping as fans, yes. And I mean, we had the magical deadline that everybody talks about, and it doesn't mean that you guys are, clowns are making that up. You know what I mean? That is usually when the shoe drops. You know,
Yeah,
around
when the season
Christmas-
gets
Christmas
rolling,
Day,
Christmas time.
Day, you know, that's what people say. So that's what I kept. You know, that's what they kept telling me. That's what I kept hearing and. You know, and on Christmas Day, yes, they delivered. They delivered the boom. You know what I mean? We talked about that's a measuring stick game. You know what I mean? We hit 21 threes. We buried them. You know, the best team in the East. We absolutely embarrassed them. So that was an exciting Christmas present for us. But can that translate? Like I said, we're dealing with our big guy is out. You know what I mean? But we still have enough pieces where we should be good. You know what I mean? Like, other teams deal with it. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're just tired of seeing it around the league. You know what I mean? Like, no LeBron, no AD last night, not to bring them up. And they beat the Thunder, I think, by 30. Yep. I mean, come on.
On a back-to-back, too.
On back-to-back on
a
the
back-to-back,
road.
too, yep.
Come on. So, it's to me, it goes back to the culture. I don't want to keep throwing this guy under the bus. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people do.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big fan of him, so I'm not trying to fire him. But, this was the last year for me. You know what I mean? Like, there was the expectations were here, and we're not there yet. It's only January, right? We're nowhere near the playoffs or anything like that. So this book hasn't been written yet. The final chapter hasn't been written yet. But this was the year for me with him. You know what I mean? And then I'd start calling for his head. You know what I mean? Like, I gave, even though I'm not a fan, I give him. He went through that, the process, and he didn't have any weapons or anything like that. But now it's time. You know what I mean? Like, and I still put it on the players too. You know what I mean? They never get a pass with me. You know what I mean?
And I tell people don't make any bones about it. I'm right in the same.
Pass with us,
I'm right in the same seat you are. Like, this is my measuring stick year for you. Like, if you don't get it done and don't get to where we want to get to, I got to talk about going in a different direction. Do I want to? I'd rather not for a team that's on pace to win another 50 games.
Yeah.
But again, it's not about 50 games. Now, I always go back to when your stars are your best players and they're still puppies, it's hard to win championships. I get that, but you still got to be an Eastern Conference Finals team this year because you're good enough to be one, right? So I got to look. I say, okay, maybe you're not going to win the NBA Finals this year, but you're good enough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you fall short, I got to start calling for his head. Now,
at least be who.
The other thing you said about Milwaukee, the 21 threes. How often does that happen this year for us? We're not a team that's going to hit 21 threes. Yeah. So, we can't rely on that. What we can rely on is what we thought we were, and that's a great defensive basketball team that got waxed in the second half with 32 and 36 points collectively on a team on a back-to-back. It's a disgrace. That's an effort loss last night. When you're up 10 at halftime, that becomes an effort loss because the other team who already played the night before, comes and shoves it. What's that become? What is that on? That's effort. It's a total effort loss. So who does that fall on? When you're talking about effort, it falls on my coaching staff.
That's why I'm glad I didn't cut you off because there was a good rant you had right there because that's where I was going. Like I said, I was just saying, my point was going to be wherever you hang your hat on, where your strength is supposed to be, then that can't let you down. Like you're going to have once in a while, you're going to have a night where, like you said, back-to-back, 3 games in 4 nights, whatever it is, and you got tired legs and you don't get back on defense, whatever. You have one of those games where it's lazy. It's the NBA, right? But not night in, not it's the last month. All right, we haven't played. I don't know if we've played great defense since week 1, to tell you the truth. When we came out of the gate.
Yeah, the first 4 games.
And we were palms up, and we were, what I mean? So, the statistics might tell you one thing. That's great because we get in the passing lanes, and, Ben, to his credit, is, he's right up there in the top 3 of maybe right now Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? He's in that conversation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's one thing that he's doing, and we don't understand there's more to do. There's more to the game than just offense. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you getting after it on the defensive end. You know what I mean? But we need, especially when Joe's out, we need you. Just need you at some point to take over a game.
I can't have you go.
I have to see it.
Yeah, I can't have you go scoreless in the second half of basketball games.
I have to see it.
And I said it today in the one video I did. If you go back and look, and we talked about this on the one show, if you look at him in the fourth quarter and you look at his shot attempts, it's ugly. Ugly, scary ugly. When you're talking about zeros and 1 and hold on. Yeah. I'm not in the business of trading them. You understand? I got to keep saying that. No. I'm going to keep saying that because people are going to say, oh, you're this, you're that, or a third, right? I'm in the business of saying, hey, you can't disappear in the fourth quarter. You're too good. You mean too much to this basketball team. When you're 6'10", you cannot, and you're that athletic, you cannot disappear in the fourth quarter.
It might not even be any shots because this is this is just the second half, to your point. So I don't even know if it's the fourth quarter. I mean, that can only it was, he was 0 for 4, no free throws. So you're not even getting to the, you're not even going to the rack. You're not even getting fouled. Like I would be happy, not happy, but I'd still be if that was like an 0 for 8 or a 2 for 8 from the line or something. You know what I mean? Like you still want him to make his free throws, but you're not even getting.
You're not even going to the line. You're not even going to the line.
3 rebounds, 6 of 6, and like I said, a minus 31 plus minus for all the people that are into that shit. I mean, come on, that's not a disappearing act. I know we were horrible as a team in the second half, but I mean that's one of your guys there.
When you score 11 in the first half, you're obviously finding some success, right? So when you come out in the second half and you get like a goose egg, then that's just an energy and a disappearing act. Great comment on here from Brian Eckert. He says, better thing happened today. 1, Reed coming back and winning and sticking it up all the fans that talk shit at halftime. Or 2, Clowney getting hit in the nuts. It's Reed to me. And tomorrow, some Eagles fans will be crumbing today tomorrow who all wanted them gone and this, that, and the third. And I get it. The time runs out. I get all that. All right? But everybody
it was definitely time. Like
people were clamoring him. He couldn't coach. And
from speaking from the outside, you know what I mean?
And now he's going 7.
As a guy that was in the trenches and bleeds green, you know what I mean? That's that was tough for you. But I think
I understood it.
Yeah, exactly.
You go 4 and 12.
It was the time, like I said. Sometimes the voice, it
runs its course.
For a new voice. Yeah,
it runs its course. But the people who trashed him on the way out is more my thing because now the guy's in 7 title games. 7 title games was remarkable.
Yeah.
And I really hope he gets to the Super Bowl because he deserves it. But it's the same people, like our great producer over there, who clamors for Doug's job at times, and other people who want to run Doug out of town. Like, I don't hate going to the playoffs 3 straight years. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather be in the dance than sitting at home every year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to appreciate when I have a winner here, but I want to get back to the Sixers, to the poll question. So you disagree with it. To me, it's 7 and 13, not knowing when I'm getting Joe back and me continuing to hope this team turns a switch on.
Yeah, I don't feel it.
On the road, and I don't see it, and last night scares me.
Yeah.
Because you're quitting on the road, which is weird. Like, you're not going to win the playoffs if you can't win games on the road.
Yeah.
And you're not good enough. Then you got to figure that out.
But we talked about, and earlier, that's why we talked, like, that's why the Christmas narrative and all that other bullshit drives me up a fucking wall, because you're going to have injuries, right? So now that JoJo's out, all the games we pissed away early on, we have some little bit of a leeway here with him being out, where you win a couple, maybe you're not supposed to, and you still end up, like you said, in that top 3.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be hard for us not to be a 5 or a 6.
There's no wiggle room now because you got to go win games.
I mean? Like, you're gonna, like I said, they're gonna have to hit some kind of magical switch here, all right, and just go on a run like they did a couple years ago, like something like that. Like I don't see this basketball team winning 5 in a row, let alone 10 in a row.
No, I don't see where it comes from. I mean, the one year that they went on the big run in the second half without Joel,
17 in a row.
Remember Ben had a ton of shooters around him, so it was a little different setup than it is now. But you just look at it, like some guys just aren't. I thought Richardson's played well, and I think Tobias has played okay. And Richardson played well the last couple games.
Yeah.
But, there's just no consistency. I don't know where I'm getting my offense from at times.
That's it.
And when you go through lapses offensively, like they do, and your best player isn't a killer.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into the 3-point shot, but just can't shoot, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts. It just hurts you, and you're seeing.
I can care two shits about that. You know what I mean? Not your point, the 3-point thing.
Yeah, I just need you to extend a little bit.
That doesn't bother me at all. You know what I mean? Like, would I like to see him shoot it, especially when you're the guy that's running the ship? Like, when we talk about, like, it's your culture, it's your team, bro, and you come out and say, hey, you want Al Horford to shoot 5. You don't want mine JoJo shooting them. You know what I mean? Like, then you would imagine that that Ben would at least put up 3 or 4 and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna this seems to be our coach's philosophy. Besides palms up, he's a defensive guy, but he likes to he wants us to hoist a little bit.
Yeah, especially open threes. That's what he's saying. Like when it comes to Al, he's like, dude, if you're open, I don't mind you shooting X amount of game. Joe, if you're open, shoot it. Like, and I think he's begging for this because he knows how important the spacing is on this team because there isn't any. Like, when I think Joe comes back, I think Al's got to come off the bench. And that's not a shot at Al. I just there's not enough spacing out there. When I have Joe, Al, and Ben on the court, it clogs everything up. especially if Al's not stroking. So I'd rather when Joe goes out the 5-minute mark, like he does every game, then bring Al in.
I mean, to me, this is this is not only is it a crucial time for us, as Sixers fans, as an organization. All right, but to me, it's a huge time for Ben. This is or is this the guy you're going to keep? You know what I mean? When it's when it's when it's all said and done, is this, I can do things on my own too. Like I can.
And we've seen him do it.
Yeah, I mean,
we've seen him do it. But Brian Eckert, don't get it twisted. Like me and Sweeps are Ben guys. We're not trying to get rid of him. And we're both guys that say I don't need him shooting a 3-ball. I just need him to be a little more aggressive. I saw fadeaway jumpers from 12 feet, right, in all season. So why can't I see them in mismatch opportunities? Why can't I see, a fadeaway from, the top of the key, right? Why can't I see that? So I don't understand why the city continues to push the shoot more narrative on Ben. Why can't he just be John Stockton?
I know, but how about everything, though? I mean, how about everything? Yeah, listen, I mean, we're with you, dude. It doesn't have to be. I'm not at a certain number for me. You know what I mean? Like, but I need you to score. I mean, I need you to score and get to the rim or something. Or if you're going to be John Stockton, you got to have 20 assists tonight then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, I just, I think we expect more out of him, right? For, like, maybe
not.
Hold
on, when you're 6'10".
Maybe not you, Bri, but, like, everybody else wants to tell us that are his fans, that are huge Ben guys, this is a generational talent. So generational talents do everything. You know what I mean? Like, the question the other night was, and it was just a question. It wasn't a shot at you guys, but, can Ben be as good as Spelling Bee? Are you crazy? It's not even close. It's not even close. Not even close to being as good as, and I call him Spelling Bee, so if people don't know that, all right, that's a Greek freak. Right? It's not even close.
There's only
Sorry,
one.
It's not even
There's
close.
only one reason
He's not even close to Luka. I mean, he's not even close. Not even close.
The one reason he is the Giannis is if you compare him at the same time. Now, the difference from him and Giannis now comes down to him not being aggressive. When Giannis wants to get to the rack, he gets to the rack, right? Like he'll lower his shoulder, he'll be physical.
I'm not saying it's not in there.
Ben has the same ability.
It's not in there
because he showed it.
I'm not saying it's not in there, but we don't see it. We don't see it on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like,
no, not consistently enough.
Yeah.
Now, numbers-wise, like I said, he was better in year 3 if you compare him year 3. Now, right now, it's not close if you compare him right this second. You know what I mean? Because he's still got to make that jump that Giannis made. Now, when's it coming? That's the question. That's why I'm not in the business of trading him. Because I feel like, and I got to pray and put all my chips in that's coming. But, yeah, you're right. When you're 6'10", you can't be John Stockton. When you're 6'10", you can't be Gary Payton. Like, when you're 6'10", you got to be Magic Johnson. You understand me? And then listen, when you look back at Magic, he was bad shooting the basketball early on. And he got better, but guess what he did? He shot it. And it doesn't need to be threes. I just need to be able to extend you because I'm so talented and I can get to the rim almost on call, right? That if I can get a pump fake on you, it's a wrap. Why can't anybody understand that? I don't have to stretch the floor. I don't got to be Steph Curry and Damian Lillard shooting from fucking logos. You understand? But I got to be able to have you respect a pump fake because the second you do, I can then get to the rim all day on you.
But I mean, how about you post up? I mean, on a nightly basis, he would have the definition of a mouse in the house, right? And then you can pass out of it and be the Stockton that Brian wants. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I'm not saying Brian's wrong. I'm about to message him right back. Like,
but you can do. There's other things like,
yeah,
like you can create more opportunities for your teammates if that's the guy you want him to be. If you're in the block, if you're coming off screens, you're doing other stuff. Like,
listen, if you don't want to extend your offensive game
pass and cut, go flash.
Real quick, if you don't want to extend your offensive game out, then extend it down low. Yeah. You understand what I mean by extend it down low, family? What I mean is then have a post game. Yeah. Have a flat-out monster post game. Have post moves. So I don't need you to be jacking threes, but you got to have a 12-foot game. This is what this league is. Why do you think people say Greg Monroe's a guy who, not Greg Monroe, Andre Drummond's a guy who the league's like passed by in a way. Even though a guy will get 18 boards a night, right? And drop you 20, and you're like, Tom, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is he can't extend. He can't extend it at all. So the game's passing guys by that can't extend it. I hate it because I'm an old school basketball guy. But the game that is being played in 2020, okay? If you can't extend the floor, the game is passing you by. Giannis stinks from three, but still jacks it. Right? Like, he's not good from three. His three-point percentage isn't good.
35, I think, right?
I think maybe like 30. It might be whatever. It's not
it's
lights
not,
out. Like, guys will leave him wide open.
No, sure.
But guess
But
what?
He's improved, though. That's
he's
what
improved.
Every year, that's all I'm asking for. Like, from Ben is to get better and better. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be that guy, that's all. I mean, that's where I say it's not close, because Spelling Bee's got better and better. Every year he gets better. You know what I mean? Like,
I just need you to extend it. That's it. I mean, I just need you to extend it in some fashion, because you can average 25 a night if you just have a 12 to 14 footer, because that's how explosive you are getting to the basket. And that's what I get stuck on with them all the time. And, I don't want to get all this to be about Ben. Do I think this team can get the 500 on the road? Yeah, I agree, because I think they're way better than they played. And I keep harping on that and waiting for them the light to turn on. But I got to think it's turned on soon. And, I can't see Joe being out more than like 2 weeks, maybe 2.5. So you're still going to have plenty of regular season left, even if he's out 3. You got enough games left to be able to go on a little run when he comes back. And, like I said, a lot's coming on Brett Brown here, because, when you talk about an energy and effort loss, that's on him last night. And when you don't play well on the road, I got to start pointing it towards the coach. And when these guys aren't ready to go and the talent's not living up to what is here, I got to start putting it on the coach. But, it's on Elton Brand to get creative at the deadline here, before the deadline. It's on him to be creative in some fashion to bring in another shooter or two. And these don't got to be stars, because they're not going to be. But he's got to be creative to get some more bench help, because Mike Scott has flat out stunk, and you really were banking on him from the stretch the court a little bit for you with your second unit, and he can't. So who's stretching the floor with your second unit? Furkan? That's it.
Corky?
That's it. There's nobody extending it. Craig, do you agree or disagree with the poll? Would they be over 500?
I do. I agree, because you look at some of those losses, right? Miami in overtime by a point. That first West Coast swing where you missed 2 games with Joe and then 2 games with Ben. A couple of those close losses. And then upcoming, you got Indiana tomorrow night. Tough game.
Yeah.
But, it's only a 1-point margin in the spread. And then you got the Nets, the Knicks coming up to end, in a couple weeks.
And I love where your head's at. And it's like the way this team played. Like we did this the other night with Danny. You're like, well, I would love to say I thought about what, a 7-2 over 9.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, I can't even do it because I don't know what team I'm getting. But go ahead.
Yeah. I was just, at least coming up, we have games that we could win.
Yeah.
Where if we get back to, because you're right, Sweeps, making up 6 games on the road sounds like it's almost insurmountable. No. But if you can make up the games that you're supposed to win, Knicks, Nets, Pacers right now. I mean, that's a tough game, but if we're who we're supposed to be,
there's 3 wins.
No, you're
there
right.
should be 3 wins.
I like the C
and now
word.
You're 10-13.
I like the C word you used. You could.
Yes,
win, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
The Nets seem to give us fits, and the Knicks are
especially
playing better.
there.
The Knicks are playing better.
No, they are.
Beat the Heat today at home.
I look back at.
Like, thank you. We needed that.
I just look back at some of those close losses we've had on the road. Previously, and a bounce here. Joe holds onto the ball in Miami. Stuff like that. We could be sitting here.
Not even Joe holding on the ball. Tobias pulls the ball out.
Or Tobias pulls it out. Yeah. So I agree with the poll.
Yeah, I agree, just because I'm going to hold out hope that this team can continue to play better. But if I had to ask you guys one question, if you're playing the blame game right now on being the 5 seed right now, even though there's so much basketball to be played, and we can talk about 2.5 out of the 2 seed. You know what I mean? You ain't catching Milwaukee, but you're really 2.5. Say 3 games away from being the 2 seed. Yeah, that's not something you can't make up. Yeah. So you're still right there. So that all being said, but still being the 5 seed, who do you guys put the most blame on? If you had to blame one person, player, coach, doesn't matter. Who's your blame going to?
It always falls at the top for me, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to go to Elton Brand because I thought he shopped right, you know what I mean? So I thought he shopped well. So I can't be that guy now. The excitement level, in the summer, at the end of the summer, we were jazzed up, you know what I mean? Except for the fact that we're Jimmy guys, you know what I mean? Like that's Some guys aren't, and that's fine. And you see kind of what he's.
Well, we like the dog.
I know, but I'm saying
we like dogs.
You see what he's meant to the Miami Heat. You know what I mean?
Oh, big time.
He's just we're lacking a closer, and we're lacking that killer instinct and that toughness that I think we're soft as baby shit. You know what I mean? So to me, that was a killer. But we understood the understanding. The other guy's younger. He had to do what we had to do. You know what I mean? Especially with the trade and the pieces we gave up. Elton had no choice. But Horford's a guy, a wily veteran that we're huge fans of, so he's been a huge disappointment.
Big time.
Can't put that on Elton, you know what I mean? He looks old, he reminds me of Alshon, if you want to stay in the city, He
reminds me of Elton.
Well, yeah.
When, you know what I mean? When we got him too late.
Changing sports, I hear you, but I mean, same thing where,
Elton shot for Elton. Yeah. That's what he did. I mean, Elton went and shot for himself.
But,
that's what I felt like we got.
Josh Richardson, a young guy, athletic guy that we
big fan of.
Big
fan of still.
Expected big things of. Yeah, absolutely.
Thought he could match Jimmy's production in a way. He's not going to be Jimmy, but I thought like the toughness, the palms up mentality, up in you all day. Yeah. I mean, he's up in you all day. I thought that his points per game when it was all said and done, they weren't going to be crazy far off. 4 or 5 points, but the other production would be similar. That okay, you're not losing a ton and you're getting Horford, so you're essentially big time making up for that production and that loss. But guess what? You haven't found. It's that simple. We talk about it. We don't love JJ defensively, but it's a big loss. The shooting part of it.
Sure.
And that's where I think we're really getting hurt. But go ahead. So
no, you're right.
The one person to blame.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, probably Brett. I mean, I'm a big, player accountability guy. So I don't ever give them any passes. You know what I mean? But it's just, the ball stops at him. It stops at him, and like I said, you got to do some things. Change up the rotation, change up whatever you got to do. Like, maybe Thibault starts. I don't know. You know what I mean? To bring some more minutes and defensive toughness or whatever. I don't know. There's got to be. You got to try stuff. And see what sticks. As much as you can, and. And hope that your voice isn't getting stale. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's a fair. I mean, Brett being the one person you blame, if you had to pick one, and to the family out there, if you had to pick one player, coach, whatever to blame, who would it be? Me and Greg will answer in a sec. Pop Montanez, got to wonder where the mental toughness goes on the road. It's great at home. It's mind-boggling, Pop, that, you need a crowd to get you jazzed up to play at this level. Like I should be.
That's why I feel we're soft, Pop. You know what I mean? That's where that all ties into, the definition. I'm not telling, explaining that to you. You know that. But I mean, that's to me, that goes along with being soft and not tough. You know what I mean? Like you said, you go through stretches where if you're mentally tough and you're locked in and it doesn't matter where you play, the YMCA or if you're playing at home, you know what I mean? Like it's the same game. It's the same, game you played your whole life. You know what I mean? Or you got the pride gene. Did you get paid and you checked out, or do you play with pride every night? You know what I mean? That's the way. That's the way I operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, last night's a checkout game to me.
Yeah.
Big time. Billy Gore, can they beat 500?
Billy Boy.
Sure. Does it look? Not at all. Like you said, need more from the outside. Yeah, and they need, like I said, they need to be creative. I mean, they need to bring in some shooters. They really need to stretch the floor. When this team plays their best basketball, they have guys who can stretch it. Tristan Russo. Now, according to Kyle, JoJo's out for the rest of the year. That's not true. I don't know where he got that information.
Who cares?
Tristan Russo, I still think the Sixers will be just fine. There's too much talent on this team. No time for the panic button yet. No, I'm not panicking yet. No. It's just the inconsistency on the road drives me insane because they're way too good for that. If they're 500 on the road, this team's the 2 seed right now. So that's my problem. But now I do think that Brian said, they're great at home, which should translate to the playoffs. But, he said a rested Joe could really help down the stretch. I mean, you don't want him rested because of this kind of thing, but sure. Arrested Joe and not being his shooting hand, could be big for the goal we're trying to get to. Greg had to blame one person. Who would it be?
Load management without being load management.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
without trying to do it, you did it.
I feel you, bro.
Because you can't fake that one.
No.
You can tell me the knee's banged up. I can tell you you're a damn liar. You can't tell me.
He was hitchhiking, bro.
When that's hanging the other way. What was it before that, Greg? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
if you had to blame one.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Sweeps. I think, Elton, it's too quick right now to either crown or trash Elton, right? You know what I mean? Like, yes, he went out and did what he had to do this all season and last trade deadline, but we still don't know what that final picture looks like, right? What he's done so far seems to have worked. Yeah, we probably missed out on a shooter, as you said, to replace JJ, right? But hey, when you're doing all these other moves in the offseason, you're gonna miss one, and you just hope that a Mike Scott you brought back, a Furkan, a James Ennis, they somewhat make up for that, which they just to your point earlier, Tom, they haven't.
Yeah, they haven't.
And especially coming from Mike Scott, who's one of your first guys off the bench. Yeah. He's given you nothing. So I'm not going to sit there and sit there and blame Elton because I thought what he's done, while I might not necessarily do everything, they've been decent moves.
Well, I can't be jacked up about it in the offseason and think he did a hell of a job and then flip a switch on him. You know, I just say, okay, now we know what we got.
Yep.
So now you got to get a little creative, even though you're up against it.
Now, if we go into another season where, like, all right, we're still missing some gaping holes where we're not as active in other ways because most of our
when you don't fill issues,
right? Now we can start getting critical, but it's still new. It's still new to him. I'm going to give him a little bit of leash. I go back to Brett, and I'm a Brett guy. I'm not like a Brett hater. I'm a Brett guy. But you know, you guys brought up Al Horford. Yes, he looks old, but Al Horford, you don't wake up and not know how to play basketball. Yeah. You might be old, and you might be hitting a wall, but you don't wake up and not know how to play basketball.
You look slow. You don't look lost. You know?
Right. He looks lost at times, and that goes back to coaching. That goes back to Brett at times. I'm not saying it's all on Brett. And then you're right. On the road, it's a mentality. It's a focus issue. Where is the focus coming from? The focus is coming from your coaching staff led by that guy. You know what I mean? And this isn't me trying to run him out, but if I'm picking one, to me it's Brett.
All right. Fair enough. You both went Brett, so I'm not going to go Brett too. Darrow Snyder said, "What's up, brothers? What's up, Darrow?
What up, Darrow?"
Matt Spilt says, "What's Brett Brown got to lose by going nuts on Ben? He's going to lose his fucking job if he doesn't do something about it."
He's spot on.
But in defense of Brett, he's publicly said,
"You're absolutely right."
At least 3 times and twice over the last 2 weeks, I need him to shoot the ball. He said it. Your star fucking player after our practice said, hey, when guys are open, they got to shoot. Well, there's only one guy he's talking about. There's only one guy you're talking about. And it's Ben Simmons. So guess who I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame the guy that I refuse to trade. I got to continue to say this because if I don't say it, people are going to be like, oh, you're just hating on him. You want him gone. No, I don't want him going anywhere. But I got to call a spade a spade. And me and Mikey the Greek, I still remember the video in Orlando. Me and Mikey the Greek, he was going ballistic, Mike. You know, about Ben and the aggressiveness and anybody that has any dog in him. And I feel like I got some dog. I feel like you got dog. I feel like Mikey the Greek's got a little pit in him. You know, I hope Greg's got a little dog in him, but I don't know. You know, because he wasn't a Jimmy guy, so I don't know what kind of dog he has and fight he has. But any dog guy.
He's tied to a tree.
The chain. Oh my God! So any dog guy loves aggressiveness and loves some killer in you. So you know you want to take out the shooting part of it. Fine, take out the shooting part. But I cannot continue to overlook disappearing acts. This isn't a magic show. I cannot have you continue to disappear in the fourth quarter over and over and over and over again, and then not put a lot of it on you. No, you want to talk about Al Horford looking lost? Well, what does the guy who's running your offense have to do with him looking lost too? Because, you know, coaching obviously is a big part of this. I'm right on board with you two. He's definitely got blame going on right now for them being a 5 seed. But my point guard who's running the offense, what blame goes to him?
No, absolutely.
And his lack of development.
Well, that goes back to
offensively.
That goes back to our point because I'm going to take it one step further than Brett. You know what I mean? At least he's saying some stuff publicly. How about the staff? Now I go to the assistants. You know what I mean? I put it on the assistants because if you don't want to listen to me, then I got to have some guys that are either younger or played in the league that this guy's going to listen to, right? Because if you're not respecting me, then I need a guy up in you.
Well, look at the Lakers. Look at the Lakers staff.
I need a guy up in you, right? Jason Kidd on that Lakers staff. I need a guy up in you that's going to say, hey, let's go. What are you doing, dude? Mm-hmm. Right? Let's go. Shoot the basketball. I'm telling you, shoot the basketball. He's telling you, shoot the basketball.
Who on the staff? Who on the staff?
Right? Do you sit when you pee? Let's go. Right? Dude, challenge him. dude.
don't?
Start a fight.
You don't?
Get him to throw a basketball off your head. Do something.
It's so much more
just to get a
comfortable.
rise out of him. See if there's blood flowing through there.
You know what
See
I
if
don't
there's something
understand?
pumping through there.
This is what I don't get. I completely agree with you because there's nobody on this staff that I'm like, okay, that's got to go do it. You know what I mean? Like that has to like for instance, if Juwan Howard was on this staff before he went to Michigan, right? Like when he went on the Heat staff, you know, Juwan's got enough backing and playing and being and
fucking Fab Five.
yeah, and being who he is,
run through that
right?
wall.
That he come up and say, "Yo, you gotta shoot the basketball." But my problem is maybe he wouldn't even be able to say it because I'm looking at Joe telling him. I'm looking at Joel telling him. What has more status than that? Than the best player on your team. One of the top, let's say, top 10 guys in basketball is saying do it. So if he can't get through to you,
Well, I wonder.
and your coach saying it, who can?
You almost want to see an intervention. You almost want to see 4 guys stay down the other end one time. Just let them go and see what happens. Get a shot clock violation or do something. Hey, go ahead. That's it. 3 possessions in a row. We're just going to play defense.
We're going to stay there.
Go ahead.
You brought something up, and it made my
Guys,
it made my head
phenomenal.
think.
That'd be phenomenal.
What if all these
no
shots
choice.
at Ben are only just publicly? What if they're never? And I'm not saying they're not, but like Joe, for example. What if?
Hold
what
on.
if?
Can I
I'm just,
stop?
I'm just saying the what if.
I know, but
Go ahead.
I just want to put the brakes on this. Ben Simmons
Brake pads.
blocked our Instagram
I know.
last year because I got hot. I got hot under the collar about being a pussy. Right? I'm not talking defensively. Let me continue to. I gotta see with the family. You gotta explain it over and over and over again. I'm not talking defensively because he's the dog I want. I'm talking offensively. All right. So when you're blocking an account, you're definitely hearing and reading what you're
hearing
your best
it.
player
Yeah, no,
saying.
absolutely. But what if they're too afraid to say it to him in his face?
Okay, we talk about pedigree, right?
Right.
Ellen Brand's essentially on this staff, right?
Well, yeah, it's his
okay.
team.
He's on this staff.
You know his lifestyle, so I mean, I guess it's who he is.
But that's another guy. Another guy. We talk about like a Juwan Howard type or Jason Kidd or guys of that stature, coming in and saying, hey, shoot the ball. I mean, Ellen Brand was a damn good player in this league. A number 1 pick in the draft. This isn't some jabron telling you, hey, and sitting down with you and having these conversations.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Brett Brown has championships in this league. You can like him or not, assistant coach or not, he's still part of championship teams, right? Brett Brown has won 50 games and been the playoffs after the turnaround. So it's not like he has no stature when he says something to you. That's what I laugh at people when they're like, well, they don't respect him. Come on, dude. Can we stop at who you bringing in that's Uncle Respect right now? So the question is, who are they going to respect then? Because this guy's been on championship teams. He's been around one of the greatest coaching ever, in my opinion, Greg Popovich. You think, we talk about Doug Peterson, things rubbing off on you when you're around greatness for so long. Stop rubbing off on him. This guy does not know how to coach. So there's other issues. The issue is you can't run an offense in 2020 on a pick and roll game when your point guard can't shoot the ball. What am I pick and rolling for? So everybody bitches that Joe's out on the key too much. Joe's out on the key. I know. I know he's out on the key too much. But Joe's got to run your pick and rolls. Because he's the only guy outside Tobias that can actually consistently hit a 3. It's a mess. And it all starts with my blame game, who, again, I'm not trading because he's still a puppy. But I'm hard on my kids, even though I'm not going to get rid of them. All right? I'm going to be hard on my own. It's a fucking joke that hasn't gotten better. And what I've seen in the offseason is a flat-out smack in the face to me. It's a smack in the face that service is all over. It's viral. And you bring none of that offensive game with you. And you shoot a couple threes against shit teams. And now I'm supposed to blow you? That's not how it goes, babe. That's not how it goes. You're not going to fool me. All right? You can fool Kendall with that bullshit. But you ain't fooling me by taking him against a team from China that nobody ever heard of, all right? And we're all, right, against the Knicks, who at the time were really bad. They're still bad, but really bad. And then you shot it against a couple more teams that stunk. And I was supposed to be all, he's here. Here he is. No, because you just proved you can do it, which makes me more mad.
Yeah, sure.
And the way his presser was the end last year, it was smug. It was smug. Like I know more than you guys now. No, you don't. Because I'm watching the fourth quarter flat out shrivel. And that's where games are won in this league. They always say you can turn a game on the last 5 minutes and you're going to see everything you need to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And what I've seen is a guy that I forget he's on the court sometimes offensively. That's my rant. That's just my rant about him.
I hear you.
And
I mean, listen, it's spot on. I'm right behind you. So,
like I said, I love the guy.
yeah, I mean, listen, I've never been, a trade Ben guy and all that.
Who do we talk more about tonight? The disappointing Al Horford, right? Or the generational talent?
Yeah, that's what I always go back to.
How are we not going to be hard on
I
him?
mean, so, it's air quotes or whatever it is, but that's.
Did you see what we did to Evan Turner?
That's the argument that we get. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, so I got to see that then.
What do we do to Evan Turner in this town? Number 2 overall pick. Okay, when you get drafted in a slot, like it or not, you're held accountable.
Oh, you threw him out with the bathwater. I mean, look at Fultz. I mean, like I said,
Same thing with Iggy.
Oh, please don't do it to me.
Saying,
Don't do it to me because I'm going to continue to harp on it. I got to get off my chest.
Yeah.
Again, and I hate to say this to Allen. Allen's one bad move. He's had one bad move. Because I just continue to say, regardless on how bad it was going here,
nobody. You know what I mean?
You got nothing back.
Nothing, exactly.
Jonathan Simmons stinks.
Nothing.
And you got nothing, and this kid can play. Which we all knew he could. We just knew something was up here. Yeah. We all knew he had talent. Like when we watched that he could score. We all knew he could score. Yeah. He was scoring without a jump shot. Unlike our point guard now. So what we did was we listened to a fan base and we said, oh, we're done with it. Stop listening to us sometimes.
Well, not even that. Like you said, it's just about, listen, I don't mind the fresh start. Right?
Couldn't
get something
back. Got Fournier back.
You go back, you get, exactly. It's what you got back. You can go to the Spurs. Spurs got some guys. They got some young guys there. You're better off, dealing with them. I mean, we thought there was options. Yeah, exactly. There was no reason to pull the trigger on a James Ennis. You know what I mean? Or no.
Jonathan Simmons.
Jonathan Simmons, I'm sorry.
At that time,
yeah, exactly.
What did you have to lose? The kid comes out and he's playing ball this year.
Well, because he's on a bad Magic team. Who else is going to score?
It's not the point, though. It's not the point.
It's
not the point, though. What are we missing? We're missing a playmaker. We're missing a playmaker with the ball in his hands.
We're missing a six man, like you said, but he was given opportunities here. So
yeah.
No. It's not about oh, Elton, you should have never dealt him. That's not what I'm saying. When you did deal him, you needed way more back than that.
Right. No,
this is the number 1 overall pick that just obviously had a medical issue, air quote, right? That we never heard of, but a medical issue, right? But we're watching him this year, and I'm not calling him great. I'm not crowning. I'm saying he can play, and he plays better with the ball in his hands. Now, that's obviously a tough fit when you're talking about Ben needs the ball in his hands. But like Sweep said, not a great six man. But you got Jonathan Simmons and second-round picks back.
Well, no, you're absolutely
right.
So
you lost.
The return was terrible.
We're definitely not.
I'm still not. I'm not against trading him when we did. You just need to get more.
Listen, I'm not running from.
Absolutely.
I'm not running from my stance when we traded him.
I would be anything here.
You didn't have to sell any. You didn't have to sell at that time.
Right.
Like hang on to to you could
Sure, you're
and second-round picks.
They probably would have released him.
Give me Fournier. Give me DJ Augustine.
We talked about that the night it happened.
Give me someone.
You can't give me DJ Augustine or Evan Fournier. Give me somebody that can.
Fournier's not.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, Augie the other night played less minutes and doubled Fultz's output in the game that they got blown out by 40.
Yeah, I don't have.
No, and I'm not crowning Markel.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm not crowning Markel. I'm just saying, like if you're going to
don't get it twisted, people.
The kid can play a little bit, and I would have just never made the deal then.
It appears. Yeah.
I just would have waited and said you're either going to play for us or you're not going to play for anybody, and then waited until the last year of his deal. I could make the move for Jonathan Simmons type. You know what I mean? That kind of deal was never going away. Yeah. So that's all I said when he just rushed it to get rid of him. You didn't have to. He wasn't playing free anyway right now. He was bringing no harm to what's going on the court. So that's where I just thought they jumped the gun a little bit on it. I get it. And he just, like I said, I blame it on Ben with a combo of Brett, and it's sort of like a side piece. Brett gets blamed because he's the head of the ship here. And when you play bad on the road, I got to look up top and say, like you said, and I got to point fingers at my coach and the best player on the court. So who's the best player on the court right now? Without Joe, it's Ben.
Yep.
And this is where we stand.
Yeah, we're just in a spot right now, like for and we gotta turn it around. Everybody's got to turn it around. So everybody's got to pull from the same rope, and figure this out. You know what I mean? Bootstraps up and let's go. You know what I mean? Like I said, it starts on the defensive end. All right, where we get back to being if that's who we are and that's what you wanted us to be, then let's go do it. You know what I mean? Like like I said, those first 2 weeks we were like, man, we hold teams under 100. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like. Those days have been way gone.
I was up here, palms up, standing up, yelling, screaming.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And, guys, everybody says we're missing Jimmy, Tristan Russo, and Jimmy Bowers, and Jeremy Boone says Jimmy should have never gone, never went. Listen, to me, it's not about what we tried to do to keep Jimmy.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was Jimmy wanting to be the man somewhere and not play. I don't want to say second fiddle to
made the
Joe,
decision.
even though him and Joe are boys, he wanted to go somewhere and be the face.
This is not like us at a buffet where we're like, you know what, I don't know if I want that. Give me that. You know what I mean? Like, give me him. Give me, you know what I mean? Like, I think, had we been, like you said, if it was in our control, at least, I mean, we're not talking front office. We're talking about us. But, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely need to retain them. But, just the way the business is and the max money and all this stuff and the age, it just wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't, he wasn't going to be a Tom Brady where, give me 1 year deal or do some restructuring, so we can win. You know what I mean? It wasn't. That's just not how the NBA works. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck you, pay me. From Goodfellas. You know what I mean?
And you hit
fuck you, pay me.
And you hit the nail on the head with the age portion.
It's true.
Like, look back at the Jimmy thing in 2-3 years. When he's getting up there, and let's see how that translates to see where we're at and where he is at too.
And just look, I said it.
But we always
that's
talk
huge...
about not caring about money. I mean, you're right. I mean, I understand that's how you have to run an organization. So listen, I'm not going to throw stones at them for that. I mean, that's their job. That's their job to be responsible. You know what I mean? We can't just because we're playing with monopoly money or not money at all. To say like, fuck it, it's not our money. You know what I mean? Like a move like that, if could be an anchor, it could be an albatross. You know what I mean? Like
it could hurt you down the road.
Like Greg said, you know what I mean? Like. After 2 years, those last 3 years, if he's hurt or he's not playing well, he's not the Jimmy that and love. It's 3 years of an albatross around your throat. You know what I mean?
And you're stuck with it. The only problem is
I hear that side too.
I feel like Elton, I feel like even though I love Jimmy and I wanted Jimmy back, I just feel like he felt like Tobias fits what we're trying to do better and fits his offense better. And the only reason I say that is because of the 3 game. I felt like they felt probably if you go Jimmy. And you're losing JJ.
I just think
who's stretching the floor for you.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not.
That's the only thing I can think of in terms of offensively.
I think the only thing publicly you would ever hear admission-wise would be age, and the other guy didn't want to be here. You know what I mean? So this is the best fit for us. Yada yada yada. But truly, I think it just comes down to what we gave up. You know what I mean? It just we were never gonna get over that. Never going to get over that. You know what I mean? Because Landry can play. Talk about a bench guy on a team that has no bench. Landry can play a little bit. You know what I mean? And nobody was saying that he couldn't. At the time, I was like, hey, let's go. We got to do it. We're going for it. You know what I mean? And
he's a sniper in terms of he wants to shoot the basketball now.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because Ben used to tell him to shoot.
The pick and Landry. So, I mean, a lot went into it, the Toby thing. You know what I mean? Just to, to throw that out the window, Where, I understand in the Jimmy thing, we lost Derek. We don't care about Rocco, but, I mean? So, I don't know. It's one of those things where we'll never admit, and it is what it is. But
yeah, and you definitely gave up more, to your point, to get Tobias.
Absolutely.
The only asset you truly gave up in the Jimmy deal was the Jared Bayless expiring $8.5-9 million. Yeah. Right? That's all you really gave up in that one. Yeah. It was a nice piece to have, and if they got you Jimmy Butler – cool, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Make that deal. Absolutely. But you're right. It's Landry as he's starting to fill out is like, yeah, it might be a nice little piece there. Yeah. And it was that unprotected first rounder next year.
Yeah, and it's a miss on a guy like Zaire, from what it looks like. A guy that you thought was going to be part of this basketball team this year.
You can't score in the G League.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I get it. Like, maybe he's still working himself back.
Like I said.
Because, when you actually look back at his injury, you didn't realize how close to, death it seemed like he was at times. Yeah. So I'll give him a little bit, but you're right. When if you're doing that in the NBA, I'll give you a little bit of a pass. When you have the G League and you're not producing in the G League, and you're healthy, quote unquote,
and you're a top 15 pick,
you missed.
That's what I'm saying. It's
and you can't.
And it's like I feel like whether what is it? How many guys can you count on your fingers? So say at least 3 or 4, maybe 4 out of the last 8 or 9 years that we missed on. Whether it's psychological, coaching philosophy, or just flat out couldn't play. You know what I mean? But to your boy, you know what I mean? Like, and I was never a Ja guy, but Ja's
can play.
Ja's playing but well elsewhere.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Because he can play.
He's playing well elsewhere.
The only thing Ja
mean?
couldn't do here is play defense.
Yeah.
Everything else,
never could. But
And we knew what we were getting when we drafted him.
But you're absolutely right. Everyone said that. We knew what we were getting, and then we still wanted to run him out.
And the guy can drive. And the guy like literally has some of the best post moves in the league.
I still to this day.
I'm not like going overboard. Like
I still will draft Ja over Porzingis to this day.
I mean, Ja post game wise can still play.
Exactly that. I know what I can get.
Yeah.
I can get 15 to 20. He's on the post.
It's just his game doesn't suit the stretch,
right?
Which is fine, but yeah,
he just doesn't play a lick a day.
I mean, they gave up. Listen, they got
to your point, it becomes huge because Joe doesn't play in the box. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to have a 7-footer that's can easily be the best center in basketball. Debatable on any given night. You know, what I mean, he could be. You know, what I mean, because we count AD as a stretch.
Yeah,
alien type.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he's just in his own category. He's just one of the best players in the world. So it's tough to, put him in that category.
You're more
he plays.
You're more comparing to like Towns and guys that are more back of their basket style.
So it usually comes down to him and Joker. As the best center. You know what I mean? So, but our guy who can be the best center in the league doesn't enjoy playing in the paint. You know what I mean? So, to Greg's point, like it's like, hey, we'd like to be like nice to have another twin tower that likes to have his back against, back to the hoop. So.
And the other side of that too is, at that point,
the question is who you building the team around.
At that point, we didn't know what Joe was. We didn't know Joel was going to play.
No, of course.
But that's my question to you guys.
Yeah, he was injured. Yeah.
That's my question to you guys. I mean, who are they building this team around? Is this team being built around Joel, or is this team being built around Ben? Because
that's what I said earlier to you. That's a great question. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, now's the time to see what you got. You know what I mean? Like, I know what people think we have and all that good stuff, but now's the time if they want to hang their hat on that, like, go bananas, dude. Go, space is open. Go.
Go ahead.
You're always talking about, like you said, if he's backing in there and it's clogged up and stuff like this, now it's free. Al's not posting anybody up. So run around.
Doesn't look like he wants to get his hands dirty down there either.
Run arond, kitten, run around.
That's another thing with him.
But I hear you. That's exactly kind of what I was thinking, early in the show when I said that to you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a stretch here where Joe's going to be out. So, you know what I mean? Like, is this what do you got?
Sorry, I was reading.
No, you're good.
Where was that at? I couldn't read that one. All right. Jeremy says Sixers need like a Kyle Korver type. Chrome coming in.
Cromer!
Saying Uncle Sweeps, Arenado would look damn good in Cardinals red.
Don't even do it, would you? I mean, no, I mean, like, yes.
Do it, yeah.
He's like, don't tease him.
Yeah, exactly.
He might flip the table over.
I will fucking drive home. I'll do a fucking kickstand on the way home. I'll just do handstands. Cartwheels on the way home. That's it.
Question. Ralphie D.
Ralphie!
If you redid the 2016 draft, are you still taking Ben over Ingram?
There was, and I said this in there was a portion of that lead up into that draft where I was all over Ingram anyway. Just because I knew what Ben was, right? You knew what Ben could be, but you knew that Ingram was there now, right? And it didn't necessarily translate in LA. I think the lights were too bright for him. But now that he's in New Orleans and he's able to have a team like around him where he's
bigger
a guy,
and stronger,
and he's also maturing.
But if you can't play, you can't play there. You can't play here.
I think he was also injured. He was injured a lot early on. But
I
liked his game. I liked his game.
I liked his game too.
To where I was actually debating going into it where you go.
He got a lot of KD comps. You know, what I mean, he was. That was where the comps were going. So it was like shit. Not a bad guy to be compared to. So I hear you, but. I don't think I would have. I just expected
me too.
Him to grow and not be the same guy he was at LSU. You know what I mean? Like number one pick, not getting to the tournament. It's like I don't know. You just find a way to do things. I don't know. put teams on your
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
I was overlooking that because he was an absolute pimp. You know what I mean? And I didn't think he'd be pretty much almost the same guy. You know what I mean? Like, we know he can play defense. Awesome, man. That's what you're supposed to do. We love that about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, right? But still don't shoot. Still can't shoot free throws. Still don't go to the rim. You know what I mean? Like,
Enough.
Just no reason. Yeah, just no reason that you don't have 15 free throw attempts
A game. You're as
know
big
what I
as
mean?
you
Like,
are. As big as you are. You're
Yeah.
a number one pick in this league, which means you get favored if you're driving to the hoop more. You should get a lot more calls.
So then it comes down to, like, confidence. Like, we know you can get to the rim. So now, since you're not a great free throw shooter, are you scared? So then that comes down to me, your beanbag. You know what I mean? Like, if you're scared to fail, like, that means, you know what I mean? So if you're not a great shooter, then you just want to be a distributor. Right? That's what you want to be. You want to be the world's biggest distributor.
He's a giver.
Okay.
That's why Kendall keeps coming back. But my question is, like, I need, like, I hate to say this, I need freaking Magic Johnson. I was told I was getting the next coming of Magic with a side of LeBron. Like, that's what I was told. I was getting that 6'9", 6'10" point guard, a game changer. This is what the bag of goods. This is why he was going to play point guard at this level.
Yeah.
Right? And had all the makings. Distributing the basketball is amazing. You know what I mean? He distributes it great. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. I mean,
like I said,
this became a Ben roast,
exactly.
which is great.
No, yeah, but I mean, in transition, there might not be nobody better. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can't always get there. You know what I mean? Like, that would be great. That'd be ideal if we can, get in the passing lane and we can get, the defensive rebound and kick it out and get going and get running. You know what I mean? And if Ben was in shape, not Ben, if JoJo was, like to run the court, like he should all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and he can get some easy lay-ins. It would be a perfect world, but that doesn't always happen. So then when the game slows down and it becomes a half-court game, right? We need something out of you, in the half court.
You're right. So let's get into this real fast. Switch it up. It's fun talking Sixers.
Sure.
And the roasting of Ben and Brett, which is great. And this is what happens when you're
take responsibility.
Yeah,
take
when you're
accountability, man.
When you're not living up to expectations, especially on the road, and that's what everything tied into tonight.
Look at Booger's suit.
And we were and the question more was like, we know they're a 5 seed now. Can they still become a 2? Absolutely. But what's the biggest reason they're a 5 seed? And that's sort of where we were right now, what we were attacking and their bad road record. And all our points from all parties, if it's Brett, Ben, other guys, they're all valid. When you talk about Horford could be, a blame guy. I mean, there's so many options
exactly.
to blame when you're not living up to expectations.
And if you want to get to your goal, which, our goal is to win it all. We get that. But we're not, like I said, it didn't have to be this year. You know what I mean? Like, even though the West is
steps.
It's not the same, like, in previous years where we were like, the Warriors, it's no fun. We get there, we're going to lose 4 straight anyway. You know what I mean? They're ridiculously talented. You know what I mean? The West is a little more spaced out. You know what I mean? And those two monsters got to fight each other anyway. You know what I mean? So, only one can come out anyway. It's either Clippers or Lakers, unless somebody else sneaks up. It's a 2-horse, it's a 2-horse race out there. You know what I mean? And we will cross that bridge when we get there. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But so for me, you got to get to 2 or 3 because you got to be on the other side. If you want to get to the goal that you're talking about that we all expected, we got to be in the Eastern Conference Finals at least.
Yep.
You got to be a 2 or 3 because you got to be on the other side of the Bucks. If you end up as a 4 or 5. You wait, and you're fortunate enough to win their first round. You're gonna have to match up with them anyway.
You're gonna go see them, yeah. So
and we always say, hey, we're not scared of anybody. Well, I'm just saying, if you would prefer to see them in the finals. You know what I mean?
So now we're down to the Final 4 in the NFL. Obviously, we're down to Niners, Packers, and Chiefs, Titans.
Both my teams still alive.
Which is amazing.
Gregor, are you still alive? It's been a couple weeks ago. What did we do? Did you want to?
No, I stuck with the Chiefs, even though I was
you did.
I did like Baltimore. I did like them, but I ended up going with Kansas City because I just trusted it more.
Yeah, I remember you did. I didn't know NFC where you
I think I stayed with them. Didn't I stay with the Chiefs, or did I end up going with Baltimore?
I don't know. We'd have to check tape.
Yeah, check tape. I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to say it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I stuck. I liked Baltimore, and I was like a little. And I was, how could you not?
We might have went Chiefs, and then you might have just went. You might have went.
I think I
went.
went.
Want to be across the board, but I thought you were rooting for Andy, so I think.
Yeah, I think.
I think you said it on the Chiefs. It was Niners Chiefs for me. I didn't know where you went.
Was that Niners Chiefs with you?
NFC.
My own. Was I Niners Chiefs too? I don't know.
Or Saints might have been your other one. I don't see you going anywhere else.
No, and I'm on a big Who Dat Nation. I'm not big on. I'm just not big on it.
Yeah.
I don't know who else I would have had. Maybe I don't know if I said Seattle. I doubt it. They're playing the Eagles, so I don't think I went there. But whatever. I mean, we got two great matchups.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Titans, that underdog story, obviously reminds you a little bit of 2017 Eagles, but done in a different way. Going
running the football.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, talk about managing a game. That's Tannehill's doing. He's been tremendous ever since they made him a starter. I mean, he's responsible. He's responsible for where they're at. We know what kind of team they are, and Vrabel's done a great job. And starts at the top. We're talking about starts at the top. And Derrick Henry's awesome. I mean, he's an absolute beast. All right, and they punish you. All right, but like you said, Tannehill just does enough. That's the ultimate game manager definition. You know what I mean? 2 games of 171, 71 yards passing against the Pats and 83 a Saturday night against the Ravens. And he didn't have to throw the ball. So, there's no making fun of him. The throws that he had to make, he made. He didn't have to.
Well, for everybody that wants to say, 9-7, you really want to get in the playoffs, 9-7. Well, Titans got in the playoffs the last day of the year. And now they're 1 win away from going to a Super Bowl as a 9-7 team and the last team in. So, not the last team in, but you know what I mean? They got in on the final day. And they're tough. They're physical. It's honestly hard to pick against them. Yeah. It really is. I don't see Andy coming up with a hiccup here. I think going on the road 2 times and winning shows you their toughness. I think it's way too hard in this league to go on the road 3 times in a row. And now you're knocking, and who you're knocking off, right? I mean, you knocked off the Patriots, you knocked off the 14-2 Ravens. I mean, you knocked off everybody, and now you're going to go knock off the Chiefs too. I think at some point it becomes too much.
Oh yeah.
And I think I think next weekend it becomes too much for them.
Absolutely, and like you said, as much as the Pats are the champs and all that stuff, that wasn't as impressive. It was for them, you know what I mean. And I thought, I'm not taking anything away from the Titans. Awesome job. It's not easy to go in the Foxborough, but you saw what the Dolphins did in Week 17 in a must-win. It wasn't like they weren't playing anybody. You know what I mean? That was a must-win for a bye and couldn't get it done. So they just, we're probably looking at the end of the dynasty there. You know what I mean? They're running out of real estate there. So. So that was okay, and even Saturday night, I know the stats are there and they rushed the ball and it's been dynamic and stuff, but when you make him one-dimensional, you see what happens, you know what I mean? So don't look at all those, padded stats that were late, you know what I mean? There was 100 yards passing right before the half, because Vrabel called a silly timeout, you know what I mean? You almost cost yourself, Mike, and I'm glad they only got a field goal, right? Because that would have turned the whole game around, you know what I mean? 3rd and 16, I know you got them backed up, but 14-3, they were going to sit on that. And the Ravens would have went to the locker room, licked their wounds, and tried to, come out of this hole. There was no reason to be greedy there, and it almost got you. And then, like I said, once they built that lead, everything else statistically was sloppy late stuff. What I call crab leg stuff. You know what I mean? That's Winston stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You saw a lot of Winston stuff Saturday night, so that's exciting to Lamar's fans and people that are in the numbers and stuff, but it's meaningless. It's meaningless. And the same thing happened last year. All right, this year they were 14-2. Last year, same thing happened. Chargers boat raced them, and then they scored 2 late in the fourth quarter, made it look like it was exciting or a close game. All right, both games were they got embarrassed both games. All right. So yeah, I mean it's but now I'm sorry, I forgot where the tangent I was on. But now you're talking about a real explosive offense, right? They can hit you. They can hit you from both ways.
As they did today.
You know what Mahomes has done. You know what I mean? Lamar's going to win the MVP, but Mahomes is the reigning MVP, and you saw what he's done in his second year. This guy's a no-miss guy. You know what I mean? This is what we're talking about. We talk about consistency and want to see it for a bunch of years. You don't need you just need eyeballs to see what Patrick can do. You know what I mean? Patrick's special. He's and he didn't miss, and he's a once in a lifetime. There's a generational talent right there.
and I if there's a team to go in
full circle,
if there's a team to go in and beat them, it's the Titans because they
went in there this year and did it.
Yeah,
they can playoffs.
They can control the clock. They can do the things they need to do defensively. They're tough as nails. Yep. But I still got Kansas City coming out, and over in the NFC, another dogfight. But, something tells me it's going to be a replay of Super Bowl I here. I know on the 100th anniversary of the Super Bowl, I just know how, or what's the 60th anniversary of the Super Bowl? Sorry. Right, isn't it? No. What anniversary? Oh, 100th anniversary of the NFL. Sorry. 100th anniversary of the NFL.
Packers Chiefs?
And it could be a little Packers Chiefs going back to the first Super Bowl. I just know how the NFL smells it. I just don't know. I mean, San Francisco defensively, they got a bad man coming into town. And when Devontae Adams plays, the Packers are different. And I'm telling you, he's got a bad man and riders coming into town. That whole football team is another tough one. Talk about defense travels. They have a defense that can go into San Francisco and take it to them a little bit. So if I had to put my money, I'm going to go over in the AFC. Same thing I did in the NFC. Same thing I did in the AFC. I'm going to do in the NFC. Like, I'm going to put my money on the better quarterback, and I'm going to put my money on Aaron Rodgers being able to go on the road, because I think one home team's going to win, one road team's going to win. It's usually how the game works a little bit. So if I'm going to go Chiefs, then I'm going to go with the road team over in the NFC and say Rodgers gets it done.
I understand. I mean, listen, they've had a run game this year for probably the first time since he's been there. You know what I mean? Consistently. They've had a defense because I don't know if any of those DBs. And give Mike Pettin a lot of credit, but I don't know if any of those DBs got any awards or anything. You know what I mean? We know Kevin King. I understand they got good players. I'm not taking anything away from them. I just don't know if they got any awards under their belt. But today they appeared to be the best secondary I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like for stretches. You know what I mean? Like Russell had some time as bad as the Seahawks offensive line is, and the two Smith brothers who are nasty for the Packers this year. Now, he had some time, and we know he's a magician. He does things on his own, but there was times when he was running around, and he might have had like 10 seconds. And I said to my dad, how is nobody open? It's hard to cover a guy. You know what I mean? Like, you could be
bunch of Deons.
You could be on him. Yeah, I mean, you could be on him, but I don't have a window? Don't I have a sliver? So I think there was times that Troy even said, like, I don't know what Russell was looking at. And as much as I love Russell, and he does it all, and I'm not killing the guy. I'm just saying there was times that Troy said, whoa, I don't know what he was looking at there. Like, I thought, that guy was open. I don't know why he didn't let that rip. You know what I mean? So, you listen, the guy does it all for his team. So, but there was opportunities today. But, we'll see. I mean, obviously, Jimmy G, this is going to be the biggest game of his life. You know what I mean? But Shanahan's been there. For me, he's been the pillar, from pillar to post, the best. He should be coach of the year for me. Everybody had them a year away or longer, and so the special year they had, and I just feel like, they can smell it, and they can, kick this door down just because they can run the football. Jimmy G doesn't have to do enough. I don't know if he's going to have to win a game. We'll see.
That's the question mark.
Can he win a game?
Because I know the other quarterback can.
Yeah. No,
so that's where I'm going with it. And then Green Bay can do a lot of the same things they do, which is run the football and play defense. So that's why I'm just like, I just think it's Rodgers' year. And which makes me sick because we went in the Lambeau and won. Not saying we're going to go, but I thought we were a better team than Seattle.
I think the X factor, back to your Devontae Adams point, is Richard Sherman. There's the X factor because Richard's back to.
Yeah,
he had a couple of years where he was banged up, but Richard's the guy that he was.
He's telling the world about it, and I love it.
He's the guy when he back to the boom days. Rich is back now.
Yeah, no question. Locked down.
He's going to shadow him.
It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a great one. It really is. Greg, who are your two?
So, the Niners beat the Packers 37-8. Earlier in this year.
Yeah, not happening again.
But the Packers were coming off of a bye. So, that's where that's where you're right. It's tough to beat someone twice.
It's tough to beat a good one twice.
But when you're coming off a bye and then you still get drubbed like that, I put a little bit of stock.
San Fran's loaded. I don't think put your stock in San Fran because
the lines. The lines are out, and they're 7. It's 7 and 7.5.
Huh?
The lines.
Who's getting 7?
The lines. So
I understand that. Who's getting 7? The Packers?
I'm pulling it back up. Yes.
Oh.
So the Chiefs are minus 7.5.
Yeah, I see that.
That one makes sense.
And
other one's
Packers,
gotta be 4.
49ers minus 7.
Oh, my God. Get it in now. I mean, load it up now.
I thought that before
the money shits and all the Green Bay fans get on that. Wow. I mean, that's a little – Vegas knows a lot of shit. That's concerning.
Well, that goes to the 37-8 drubbing, you know what I mean? So now they're going to see what happens. You know,
right.
They have to set it. Like, we all know that. You guys aren't stupid. But they set it somewhere and then see where it goes.
Yeah,
we just got to get enough on both sides, and we're eating like piggies, you know what I mean, you cocksuckers. And then occasionally they'll middle it. Fucking thieving bastards.
Facebook went out.
Oh, did it?
We're at the end of our rope.
Of course it did. It's telling us.
We were so close.
I mean, I'm going to go
Midnight, we
KC and
get censored.
49ers. I just think Titans are on a great run. I just don't know if Tannehill can do enough if they take Henry away.
No, you're right. Not that they can, but yeah.
Right.
Not that they can. Try to see if that button works. It might restart it.
A.J. Brown's an issue. I mean, you know, so, no, I hear you. I mean, it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be awesome, you know, two good games you expect, and you like to see the adjustments from both sides of the coaching staffs. You know what I mean? Like you said, are you going to – of course you got to take away Henry. That guy's an absolute monster, but I don't know if anybody's done that all year. You know what I mean? So not just him. Their offensive line is fantastic, right? And, you know, they're able to open up holes for him, and then he does his thing, and he, you know, takes 12 guys to tackle him. But, you know, like I said, if they try to do that, like Greg's saying, then, you know, and you want Tannehill to beat you. You know, A.J. Brown, Jono Smith.
Don't restart it.
Smith, they got some weapons, you know.
Just cancel it. Well, you can't restart it. There should be a button to refresh it. But it's cool. There should be, but I guess it didn't come up. I didn't tell you to restart.
That's how you do it. I don't know how to do it.
Who told you that?
Frank told me. That's how he fixes it.
Oh, yeah? They don't even know how to fix it.
In the Eagle suit? and he's in the suit.
No, you're good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the other one didn't even come up, so maybe it is. I didn't think I thought it came up with a button.
No, I'm with you, Greg. That's where I'm landing.
I thought it said, restore.
That's where I was. That's where I was a month ago. You know, that's where I'm at. I'm the Niners Chiefs, absolutely.
Yeah, and not that I disagree with you guys far. I'm just a believer in, you know, if I'm going to go in this kind of game, I'm just going to go with the better quarterback and the guy who's been there.
The respect is there. You know what I mean? I hate him. The last couple, you know what I mean? I used to like him. He's become such a smug asshole.
Oh, yeah, he's
that
smug.
He's a hate-to-face guy. I want to just cave his face in, all right? And the guys that want to, these young generational guys that want to absolutely automatically – right, bend over the floor and jay him. You know what I mean? Like, good job. That's great. You know what I mean? Like, you know, McCarthy's a good football coach. You understand? Like, whether that's going to be a good fit, I don't think it's a good fit in Dallas. Anybody with Jerry Jones isn't a good fit, right? But that guy's a good coach, all right? And don't get it twisted. It reminds me of, to me, it's like Andy. It was at the time, it ran its course, you know what I mean? And Rodgers had enough. It wasn't, you know, he was a superstar.
Oh, Mike McCarthy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Very good coach.
You're always going to choose the superstar, you know what I mean? So, to me, I want nothing to do with the Packers even sniffing winning this year, you know what I mean? So, I want them to lose today. I don't want them to get back to the Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
So, it doesn't mean they're not going to, absolutely talented.
Fair enough. Real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Who do you boys got tomorrow night? LSU or Clemson?
It's going to be a beauty. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, 25-0. I mean, how do you go against that guy? You know, I mean, the year that Burrow had is, you know, it's just the Cinderella slipper. You know what I mean? This is the last piece for them. But I expect a good game. I will bet Clemson probably, especially at 5.5. And teasers 11.5. Yum yum. I do like the over. I expect some points. I think it's 69. All right, so I'm gonna go Clemson and over. But yeah, I think LSU. I mean, Clemson has the pedigree, and they've been in these big games. LSU hasn't. I never go against Dabo, and Trevor's awesome, and
It's hard to, yeah.
It's just really hard to go against Clemson. You know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, LSU finds a way to, maybe win it late. Close game, and expect a beauty and a close one.
Yeah, I mean, LSU's loaded. I've been on that train, but, it's hard to go against Dabo in these moments.
Yeah.
And Trevor, and, I think in terms of, the LSU, the LSU separator and the SEC separator is, skill position speed is always the X factor, and that's why you see them versus like a Big Ten team, and it really shows its head a lot of times. But when you talk about Clemson, they are that SEC type built team, even though they're an ACC team. I think you talk about skill positions and all that. I think this is a dogfight. I think this is a 34-31. I'm going to go with Clemson and Dabo and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you're talking about, winners here, but Dabo's a big-time winner. I love him. And I listen, I love Eddie O, too, a ton. Big fan of Eddie O. Big fan of LSU. Won't be mad if they win.
Yeah.
But in terms of gambling-wise, I definitely am taking Clemson because I'll take the points and go to bed there. But I think this is a 3-point game either way. But I'll just take Clemson just to sake to take them.
No, you're right. I mean, everything you said was spot on. You know what I mean? It's the same suspects every year. You know what I mean? So you're just waiting for, and even if they expand it, like it's the Final Four, because it's probably still going to end up the same guy. You know what I mean? If Tua doesn't get hurt, Alabama's
right there
in the Final Four too. So not Oklahoma. So it's the same four all the time. So I don't know what college. People like that. I get that. There's fans of those teams. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I like a little more parity, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah. The ACC's terrible, so everybody has slept on Clemson all year. You know what I mean? They just, play who's in front of them, do their job, yada, yada, yada. And then when the lights shine the brightest, they answer the bell. You know what I mean? So, and you knew what you're going to get, from Ohio State. And, and obviously LSU emerged, as, because they're in the same side as Bama. So, that's why usually you can't see both of them, unless
you can't get both.
You can't, you know what I mean? Like, I know there was that possibility at Georgia that one year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, you know what I mean? They play each other, so it's almost like, somebody's got one team wins the one, and then the other team wins the SEC championship game, and then you sneak back in, at 4, which could have happened this year because, the options were sloppy, and sloppier, you know what I mean? Like, so. It is what it is, but yeah, it's exciting. So it's put the final bow on the college season. It should be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. I don't know why it was so long.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
They said scheduling, but it doesn't make any sense.
No. It's about TV and fucking that's.
Yeah, more money.
I mean,
There's something money related.
Yeah,
Greg,
absolutely.
who you got? LSU or Clemson?
It's tough. It's a tough game, right? LSU's got the defense. Their offense has finally showed up this year to match their defense. They've always been a team that's been defense, and if they get any type of offense, that's a bonus, right? They just kept teams so low. But I can't go back and I can't go away from, although Clemson has been slept on this year, they've been there before, right? They were there last year. Trevor Lawrence has been the best quarterback in the NFL draft the last 3 years, and he's not even eligible. He was the best kid last year. He was the best kid this year. And
Fuck you, Greg. It's killing me.
and he's going to be the best guy next year when he comes out. And then you both brought up the Dabo, right? We talk about Brett, how he can't get – it seems like he can't get the most out of his guys. That's one thing Dabo does. Is in these big games, he gets the most out of those guys. So I'll go with Dabo. I'll go with Trevor, the sunshine, the flowing locks, Clemson.
Let's go. Fam, it's been real. Crumbs don't go anywhere, so we'll get into it. We'll get into it again next week.
Listen, powered through it, dude. Both long hours working today. Greg's got to get up tomorrow. We appreciate him every week. Thanks for filling in, brother, like usual. And like I said, we're Wils was just a little late for Wils. You know what I mean? So one of those nights. But early on, we had some, Tom fought through some stuff, and here we are.
I'm not going to trash him, but I will trash him. A little too much alcohol for the big guy.
Maybe you get one crumb of the day in today, one crumb of the week.
No, just him.
Exactly. That's where I was
him.
going.
I was in a great mood. Do a
Well, I
show,
think,
whatever.
We kind of went big Chiefs, and it was they're flowing there at 24-0. It was you somebody pissed in your Cheerios, and then all of a sudden somebody flipped the switch. And the beers were flowing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine being out.
Or you could be me and have the
We were in a
Texans.
cage. I was in a cage. Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean,
I did make that statement earlier.
Just dig a little deep.
Had no idea.
Yep, Adam. Only $50, so it wasn't a crazy bet. But it's like somebody told me it was 21-0 when I was in a cage. I said, "Oh, good start. Here we go." Like I didn't want him to win, but I'm like,
10, yeah.
I'm definitely covering. I'm thinking in my head.
About that same time, I was on the opposite end. I'm like, my buddy's texting me. He goes, "Yo, I just took a chance on the Texans money line." He goes, "Looking pretty good." I'm like, looked at the score because I was driving. I'm like, 24-0 already in the third.
Oh, that's why that.
I was like, oh, all right, I lost that one because I had the Chiefs -10.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm like,
those guys,
oh, not only did you win, you covered.
That's what I'm saying.
Hello.
That's why those guys, and that's why those live bet guys they kill it, man. If you're just paying attention, 24-0. Chiefs were plus 220 money line. I mean, obviously, 24-0. I'm just saying, though. You know what I mean? Woo.
Yeah, you throw a couple bucks on it.
Hello.
Throw a couple bucks on it. You're sitting pretty. Our family, join us. We love you. Shows all week here. You already know it. Subscribe, like, follow, the whole nine. For Tom Arnaud, Nick Delgazzo, Greg Milanovic, Brian Wilson, probably passed out.
Lamar, maybe next year.
Passed out with a stripper somewhere.
Put that MVP on your mantle.
Yep.
But ain't going to have nothing else.
Not this year.
He thinks it's easy to go back to. I know we're leaving, so I don't want to go on a tangent.
A 9-7.
Marino never got back. It's not that easy, Now with, the GOAT and all those guys leaving, maybe the AFC gets a little easier. I don't know. But it looks like Andy might have a dynasty, too. So we'll see.
Oh, Andy. Seems like Andy's got that everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I know.
Great show. Thanks to our doc, make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. See you, fam. We out.
Later.
Folks, Bob Mannery here, and you're listening to Agree to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgazzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnaud. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.